Welcome to BreweryCrawl.com. My name is Alan Kramer, and this is my son Zach. Have you ever wondered how your favorite beer is made? Well, so have we. Have you ever wondered what makes it so special, so unique? We decided that we would do a tour of every brewery in the world to find out exactly what makes each beer unique. Since Zach is a student here at University of Georgia, we thought we'd start off in Athens, Georgia at the Terrapin Brewery. Let's head inside. Hi, we're here with Julia Weckback here at Terrapin Brewery, and she's the marketing director, and she's going to help us along with finding out everything there is to know about Terrapin beer. So Julia, why the name Terrapin?
Terrapin comes from Spike, our brewmaster, is a big Grateful Deadhead. So Terrapin Station is one of the Grateful Dead albums, and that's where the name comes from. And all of our label art is actually done by a man named Richard Biffle, who did a lot of Grateful Dead concert posters and worked with them a lot. So we've got sort of a subtle Grateful Dead theme.
And what's the turtle all about?
The turtle? Well, Richard Biffle drew the turtle for us for the first time. It's just a take on Terrapin.
Nice. What ingredients do you use to make the beer? How's it made? What do we do?
Beer's got 4 ingredients. So we've got water, hops, yeast, and malted barley. We start with, all of our beers start with a base grain of 2-row malted barley. And then we have a whole slew, I'll show you on the stats later, of specialty grains, different darknesses that get added. We use about 8 or 9 different hops, depending on what we're brewing, and then we use generally 2 or 3 yeast strains. So we have an ale strain, occasionally we do a lager, and then I think there's one other yeast strain that we use.
Where do you get your ingredients from?
Well, the ingredients come from all over. Hops is grown mostly in the Pacific Northwest, so like in Washington. There's a lot grown in Washington. We get a lot of our grains from Germany, but they come from all over. We have probably 2 or 3 different suppliers that we use.
So how long does it take to create a beer from start to finish?
Well, as far as the creative process, you'd have to ask Spike, how long it takes for him to conceive of a beer. But to actually brew the beer, it's 1 day in the brew house, which is about 4 to 6 hours. And then the fermentation time, which can be anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, depending on the beer.
Okay. Do you recommend any type of special glass, wide mouth glass or anything special for the beers?
We serve all of our beers in a 16-ounce pint glass, basically. We've brought in some Hefeweizen or some Pilsner glasses for the Hefeweizen, but most of our beers get served in the pint glass.
What type of food do you usually have with the beer? Anything you can recommend?
Beer pairing and food is sort of a exciting thing right now. We were just talking about it last night. I mean, I'm all over the Hefeweizen. The Sunray Wheat right now is a great food beer. I just had it last night with a tuna salad, like a Michelin salad. I don't know, sometimes I think food pairing is kind of about the situation that you're in. The rye pale ale and the hopskuchen are great for barbecues. They're good beers for anything off the grill, really. The rye is a nice spicy beer, which some people shy away from spicy beer with spicy food, but I love eating rye. I love Mexican food and Thai food with the rye pale ale. The brown ale is an excellent food beer. It's got a nice malty backbone, so it goes with all kinds of braised winter dishes and stews. It's actually a great ingredient for a lot of winter dishes and stews. And then we have a slew of these side projects that come out every 3 months or so, and a lot of those are very good food beers. But we have a pumpkin beer that comes out in the fall that's great with any kind of spicy fall fare. So our beers are actually really good food beers.
Well, great. Well, let's go take a little tour, see what's going on here.
Okay, great. So we've got two of our products in here. One is filled with the Wake and Bake, and it's fortified with I think it's I won't say it's bourbon. And then the other ones are Big Hoppy Monster. So they're all aging in bourbon barrels. 1023. Yep. The wake and bake is in the bourbon barrels is going to be called substance abuse. So
And when is this coming out?
I don't know.
Whenever it's ready.
Whenever it's ready, yeah. Could be like 6 to 9 months. So.
Looks like it's limited quantity though, huh?
Very.
First come, first serve.
It might just be Christmas party. So this is a chocolate malt, like a dark. You find this in the. You can taste it too. It's just tastes like cereal. It's pretty good. Yeah, this is one of the darker malts that we use. Not the darkest, but it's one of the darker ones. This line here goes out to our grain silo. Goes through here, gets crushed to the consistency of like kind of a rough oatmeal, like an Irish oatmeal kind of. The specialty grains are added here so that everything gets mixed together, and then it goes out this auger in the back and then heads towards the brew house. So this is the byproduct. This is called spent grain that's come out of the brew house. So it's already, the proteins that are going to be fermented, sugars, have already been extracted. Goes to a local farmer, a hog farmer, who uses it for feed.
Wow.
It's still really protein rich when we get done with it. So this is also how we get rid of our yeast when we're done with the yeast. It also goes to the hog farmers. Yeah.
Guess they'll eat anything, won't they?
Yeah, right. The grist or the crushed grains are collected in that first container up there, which is also a scale. So the recipes by weight of all the grain are in there, and then that drops down into the mash tun, which is where the proteins are extracted from the grain to be turned into the sugars. So this basically has a false bottom, and the grains sit on top of the false bottom, and then hot water cycles through it. Then it goes to the kettle, where the proteins are cooked into sugars so that we can ferment fermentable sugars. That's also where the hops are added, once during the boil for bitterness, and then again at the end for aroma. After that, it goes into the centrifuge here that pulls out some of the solids and spins it and pulls out the first set of solids. And then through the heat exchanger, which brings it from boiling down to about 60 degrees so that we don't kill the yeast when we put the wort on top of it. So after the grain and the water and the hops come out of this kettle here, it's called wort. And that's just basically kind of a hoppy, syrupy, pre-beer sugar. So from there, it goes into the fermentation tanks. And the fermentation tanks are all the cone bottom tanks that you see all around here. This is a 25-barrel brew system, so in order to fill our small tanks right behind the brew house, we have to brew 3 batches on this system just to fill our smallest tank. So we're brewing not 24 hours, because once we fill the tanks, we're done, but we brew 24 hours until we get our tanks filled at this point.
Okay.
It's probably an active fermentation. Watch the stuff. This is sort of our, call it the cathedral. Most of our fermentation tanks are down here, and you can see these are active fermentation. These are all
And what is that there?
CO2. It's the byproduct of the fermentation. As the beer ferments and the wort ferments, it goes off CO2. So they put it in these buckets so that you don't get bacteria in. So keep it clean.
These are all the different tanks, all the different brews.
Yeah. Yep. These are all 75s, and I think those are 150s. So we doubled our fermentation space in the last year. We're hoping to do that, to add more tanks.
All right, well that ends our tour here in Athens, Georgia at the Terrapin Brewery. I'd like to thank Julia for taking us around to the brewery.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it. If you're interested in finding out more about Terrapin beer, go to our website at www.brewerycrawl.com and click on the Terrapin link, and it'll take you right to the brewery. Any other breweries interested in having a tour done, please contact me at alan@brewerycrawl.com and schedule a tour of your own. Please remember, as we say in Brewery Crawl, that good beer is made, but great beer is crafted. Look forward to seeing you on the Travel Channel soon. Cheers.